Margaret.
My name is Meg.
I'm Elena.
And I'm Liv.
And our biome is the savanna. The savanna is a rolling grassland scattered with shrubs and with many trees. There's not enough rain that falls on the savannas to support forests, but it is also known as a tropical grassland. The savannas are located at the base of the Himalayas, about 15.5 miles wide, but it is very long, and the area is mainly found in the semi-arid and semi-humid climate. Regions of the subtropical and tropical latitudes rainfalls ranges between 12 and 16 inches. In the high Andes of South America, between the subtropical rainforest that reaches to about 5,900 feet or 1,800 meters, and the snow line above 16,400 feet, which is also 5,000 meters, there is a temp zone. The high end sections of this zone is between 13,100 to 16,400 feet, support an area of alpine grassland called the Paroma. This altitude makes it very cold during the day and even cold, which is freezing at night. The soil of the savannas is porous with rapid drainage of water with thin and organic portions of soil created by partial decomposition of plants or animal matter. What are the temperatures like in the savannas?
The average monthly temperatures are at or above 64 Fahrenheit, and annual precipitation averages between 30 and 50 inches for at least 5 months of the year. During dry seasons, at least 4 then more inches of rain are given.
How cold can it get in the winter?
The winter temperature is usually 68 degrees to 78 Fahrenheit with little to no rain.
Wow, kind of like how it is here.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Do you guys know what kind of animals there are in the savannas?
Yeah, there are a lot of different species of animals in the savanna. One of them is the common ostrich, which is one of the many animals that inhabit the savanna. They are the largest species of bird and can run as fast as 43 miles per hour, covering a distance of 10 to 16 feet per stride. Ostriches have adapted to living in the savanna with their wings, which they use to balance and steer while running, as well as keep warm. Ostriches have long legs with strong muscles, thick bones, and powerful two-toed feet to help them outrun predators. Ostriches can lay up to 60 eggs in one communal nest, and the eggs take 42 days to hatch.
What do ostriches eat?
Ostriches are omnivores, so they eat both plants and insects.
Are there any carnivores?
Yeah, one of the carnivores in the savanna is the pangolin, not to be confused with penguin. They are carnivorous mammals whose armored bodies protect them from predators. Pangolins are believed to be the world's most trafficked mammal, accounting for as much as 20% of illegal wildlife trade. Pangolins have adapted to their environment with their tough keratin scales, which act as armor against predators and cover them from head to toe.
Are there any interesting insects?
Yes, 1 quadrillion of these incredibly strong insects cover the earth, spread over 12,000 species. If you haven't guessed it by now, they are ants. Ants are decomposers, so they eat dead matter and help make soil fertile. An ant colony can consume 38 to 60 grams of food a day depending on their size. That's a lot for an ant colony.
That is.
They are also very, very strong for their size, for they can lift a massive amount of weight. If ants were humans, they could carry about 900 to 4,500 kilograms
Oh my god!
and run at a speed of 80 feet per second.
Oh my god.
What the heck?
That's more than twice as fast as Usain Bolt and an insane amount more than the most weight ever lifted by a human. Ants have adapted to their environment with their super sensitive antennae and incredibly spatial memory. Their antennae allow them to move around in complete darkness, and their memory allows them to follow instructional cues in their environments.
What do they eat?
Ants are decomposers, so they eat dead matter.
Oh, wow.
Something that's really important for animals to survive is water, and there are many bodies of water in the savannas. Originating bodies of water in the savanna is rainfalls. Globally, streams are critical components of grasslands. Also, many streams, such as escarpment streams and the tidal reaches of streams. Also, grasses and trees. It is a rolling grassland in the savannas with scattered trees and shrubs. There are rainy and dry seasons. There are 2 seasons in the savannas. One is the rainy season, which is in the summer, and then the dry season, which is in the winter. In the summer, during the rainy season, it can rain up to 15 to 25 inches. But in the winter, in the dry season, there's only a couple inches of rain. The savannas are pretty warm all year round. It cools down some during the dry seasons, but stays warm and humid during the rainy seasons. Some of the natural disasters that occur in the savannas are fires, like wildfires. The most acute threats to the biome are from the logging charcoal product. Farming includes overgrazing by livestock, and wildfires are mostly in the West Sudan. Enforcement on the ground is often lacking, and many parks struggle with the impacts of civil unrest, political instability, and lack of resources due to very poor infrastructure in the region, which is normally in the west of the savannas. In the land masses in the savannas the savannas are very flat and in a very open landscaping. The savannas lack landmass, but plants thrive, for example, trees.
Speaking of trees, one kind of tree in the savanna is the baobab tree. It is known as the tree of life. It provides shelter, clothing, food, and water for animals and human inhabitants of the savanna. The cork-like bark and huge stem are fire-resistant and can be used to make cloth and rope. This tree produces baobab fruit that is harvested for export.
Wow, that sounds cool. I wish I could live there.
Another type of plant in the savanna is stargrass. There are lots of different kinds of grasses in the savanna, and stargrass is one of the many grasses in the savanna. It also is used as a medicinal plant to treat digestive conditions, colic, etc. Stargrass is often found in calcium-rich soil and has bright yellow star-shaped flowers.
About how much is the savanna covered with trees?
Trees may make up as little as 5% or as much as 30% of the cover of all plants in the savanna.
Going back to natural disasters, which previously Margaret has talked about, there are more than just wildfires. There are bushfires, droughts, floods, and sometimes earthquakes, cyclones, and volcanic eruptions.
Wow.
Also, savannas have warm temperatures year-round with 2 very different seasons. Very dry seasons, winter, and very wet seasons, summer. In dry seasons, only an average of 4 inches of rain fall. Between December and February, there's little to no rain season. Including the time lengths, tropical savannas receive 10 to 12 hours of sunlight during most days of the year since they're so close to the equator. During sunrises, the time changes every day by a minute, but the sunset stays the same. However, in African savannas between 50 degrees north and 30 degrees south, periods of 24 hours of sunlight in summer and 24 hours of darkness in winter.
What about the humans in the savanna? What's their impact on the environment? What effects do they have to the biome?
Well, people who live in the savanna depend on the environment for fuel, food, medicine, income, and feed for livestock. The human activity that harms savannas are logging, charcoal production, farming, grazing, and wildfires. In the East Sudanian savanna, there is a relatively undisturbed habitat on the outside of the main protected areas. Due to the very poor infrastructure in the region, wildlife-based tourism as a source of income is underdeveloped, with the exception of sport hunting in the Central African Republic. Climate change has resulted in rising water levels in coastal areas. Rainfall has increased by 10 inches since 1967, and major threats from human activity are land clearances, mining, and the new invasive species.
What can humans do to help stop global warming in the savanna?
Well, you can try to help plant trees and other plants in the Ord Valley, because that is a spot in the savanna where the largest amount of land was cleared.
But wouldn't that cause wildfires?
No, actually, it would prevent some of them, because if there was dry grass and if there was lightning, it would strike the trees first, because the trees are higher up than the grass.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Moving on to what I was saying, by 1976, nearly a third of catchment area, I can edit that out, has degraded to very poor conditions. And that's a wrap up of our podcast. That's what our Biome is about. Thanks for listening.